hear people on the radio. And when I would hear people on the radio, then I was I was like, man, I think I can do that. And I would listen to them talk, I would listen to them speak, and that's something that I wanted to do. Is just, I don't know, it's like I saw interviews, and I've always been a person who, I would watch interviews on TV. I was back in the day watching Donahue. I was young, but I would sit in front of the TV because I liked the interview, or the 2020s and the different things where they sat and they talked to people. Any talk show where it was like talking to people and finding out about their lives, I would sit and listen to those, and I was like, I think I can do that. I think that I can sit and talk to somebody. I think that I can sit and interview people. And then when Oprah showed up, I was like, yes, I can do this. And that was like about 14, 15 years old, because then I would come home from school and that would be my thing. I would have to watch Oprah like every day. So, and because I saw her and I was like, oh, she's doing it, that means I can do it too. And that's something that I really wanted to do. And it was just in me. I love talking to people. But a lot of people don't realize that, because they look at me and they be like, oh, she's so quiet, she really never talks that much. And but I observe, just kind of observe people. But I love to sit and find out people's stories, find out how their lives have gone, what things have happened in their lives, and it encourages me. So I knew, I was like, man, it ought to encourage somebody else, because it encourages me. So I did. I would write poetry. I would write different things down. I was always like a writer too. So I really wanted. I don't know. It's like I wanted my words to be heard, but at the same time, I was quiet at one point, and I didn't really talk a whole lot. But when I said something, people were like, "Oh, well, you speak well, or you do this well, or you do that well," and I didn't think so in the beginning, but I started to see that there was a gift there, and I wanted to utilize my gift. And when you asked me about being on ALH, I was like, I don't even think about that, because that's something that I've wanted to do. I wanted to be on radio, because when I would hear other people, I was like, I could do that. I could hear myself. And so when you asked me, I was like, yes, this is opportunity. I get to be on the radio. and and I get to come up with these shows. I get to put those ideas that I have in my head. I get to put those out there and kind of see how things fly and how things go. And I remember when I did my first show on ALH, and how many people had tuned in. And I was shocked by the people who had tuned in. I was like, where y'all at now? Y'all need to come on back. But it was exciting for me to be on the radio and talk, just have those conversations with people. And I've heard so many people say, you can do this. You should have been doing this. It's like your voice calms people. And I was like, really? But it's been like a dream to do a talk show or to be on the radio. I would always see myself doing it, or facilitating, being in front of people and talking to them and just sharing things. But when I wanted to share those things, I wanted to see them change. I wanted to see like light bulbs go on, because I guess that's like the teacher in me. I wanted to see light bulbs go on and they get it, and then they start living it out. And then that's exciting for me. Mm-hmm. But I would say it started probably like around 10, 11 or so. I was just sitting daydream about me hosting. I had my own microphone, and I'm the one asking the questions. Oh man, but it has evolved. I mean, because God has done so much, to the point where I went with my writing. I started writing, but even with my writing and writing the things that I have written, I want to. It's like now I see myself as just reading it to people or teaching from the book to
Mm-hmm.
teach other
Mm-hmm.
people what's in the book
Mm-hmm.
so that they can get that information too. So it's like trying to incorporate all that. But I was sitting daydream about myself doing what we're doing now.
Exactly this. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Were you ever one of those people? There are so many people who even now who are on radio or television or whatever that have this thing that they don't like their voice. You know, they don't like to hear themselves. Was that you at any point? Because you seem not only so comfortable with it, but excited and passionate about not just what you are bringing through your program, but just talking. Period. I mean, you just that just seems to be a good zone for you. So, did it ever bother you? Were you ever at that point?
I did not like to hear my voice at all.
Oh.
It's like I felt like I was like, why do I talk like that? Because you're here. So when you listen to yourself, it's out here. And I would listen to myself and I was like, I can't. I can't hear myself talk. But I started pulling up videos where I had to speak and different things that I had to do because I wanted to watch myself. I wanted to see what I was doing. I wanted to see what, like with my words, was I speaking clearly? Could people understand me? um what things did I do with my hands, because sometimes I'll start moving my hands and stuff, so I wanted to watch myself and see how I was presenting. So I got used to my voice, and I would go back and play, because even with ALH, when I started with radio, I would go back, I would record it, but I would go back and listen to it
Mhm.
just to see before it was aired. I was like, okay, I need to go back and listen to this and see how this sounds. And then I would watch myself, and I got used to listening to my voice. And then I realized, I was like, okay, everybody's voice is unique,
Right.
everybody's voice is different.
Mhm.
And I can improve, but I can't improve if I don't watch myself or listen to myself.
So you do that self-assessment thing.
Yes, I
And
go back and try to listen to myself, watch what I'm doing. I try to watch my facial expressions because it's a whole thing. But in the beginning, it would be so hard. I remember watching a video where I spoke at, it was like a conference thing that they did, and I was looking, I was like, why didn't nobody tell me about this, and why nobody didn't tell me about, they should have told me. And I was just cutting things up, but I was like, okay, just listen to what you're saying. Is what you're saying coming across and being, explained correctly and people receiving from it? And I had to just to kind of sit and listen to myself and be like, okay, it's okay that you sound the way that you sound. That's your sound.
yeah,
Can you improve in some areas? Yeah, some of the things that I was saying, I was like, okay, you can do that a little bit better. You need to speak up or talk clearer in some situations. So it helped me, but in the beginning, I couldn't stand it.
well, let me interrupt you just for a minute. Thank you all who are on the line and who have joined us. Had trouble, didn't realize we were having trouble in the very beginning because the show was not coming through. So, those of you who are on the line, if you can share it with some of the regulars and some of the folks that usually listen, like Nikayeta from New York, and anybody else that you can think of, I ask that you do that so that they won't miss the opportunity to be able to get to know Angela Oliphant just a little bit better. Now, Angie, I do want to ask you this. When you had this in your head at 10, 11, or whatever, and you knew that it was something that you wanted to do, did you ever get to a point of thinking, but it's never going to happen?
I did, because there was a lot of things I didn't think would ever happen. I was like, and people ask me now, why am I like so positive? It's like even my kids, they were like, oh, if they bring me something negative, I hit them with a positive. and they look at me crazy because I was like, I know you don't want to hear it, but I was so negative and thinking, oh, thinking that I was so limited,
Mm.
and that even though I had these dreams, I thought that they would stay dreams. Even though I would daydream to the point people would be talking to me and I would not hear a thing that they were saying because I was already gone somewhere else in my mind. And they would have to get up on me and be like calling my name. And then I look at them like, why are you up on me like this? But it was because I had totally tuned everybody else out. And I had that dream going in my mind. I could see it. It was like watching a movie almost. But I, even though I had those dreams, I felt like, oh, they're gonna stay dreams. You'll never be able to do that. You. It's like I thought of myself as being not smart enough. You don't have. I didn't have like resources. I didn't feel like I had the resources to get where I needed to go. And whenever I showed up and showed even like a small part of my gift, what I see now is my gift. Um, People would shut me down quick, and they would, it was like they would come at me. So I was like, I would just be quiet and kind of sit off to the side and not really, I didn't hang out with a lot of people. I was like a really like a person that was off to myself a lot. um
So
so
you didn't really have the encouragement
no,
coming through in terms of your dream and what you were able to do.
no, it
Wow.
was like the things that I wanted to do, I kind of kept those to myself, because if I did say something, it was like shot down. Or if I remember singing a song one day, and this is like, I don't know why this memory comes back, but this comes back. I remember being in the choir, and Linda, my sister, she remembered the Little Builders. Little Builders was a choir at the church, and we were practicing at the pastor's house, and they wanted me to lead a song. And so I was like, I was really scared, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna lead the song. And I remember the song to this day. But I started singing the song, and they were singing behind me, and I was the one that was leading. And he walked through, and when he walked through, he was like, who's that singing? Who's that leading? And they was like, that's Angie. He was like, oh, that's good. You keep that up. You sounding good, girl. And I remembered that. And I was like, oh, he said I can sing. And that was like encouraging to me, because I felt like, man, again, my voice, I felt like my voice was like just horrible. And for somebody who was in a leadership position to say, oh, you can sing, you sound good, that was encouraging. To be in a place though where, and I've seen this, and I know it's like, I've seen this in ministry. I've seen this in other places where I've been, like even in workplaces. If I speak up and say what's on the inside of me and begin to talk, people kind of look at you, but they would be, what I found out later is like maybe intimidated by you, or maybe upset that you move the way that you move.
Hmm.
So instead of like pushing you to move forward, it was like, I'm going to shut you down so you don't do what you need to do. Because I would walk in on a Sunday morning, and this has been years ago, but I would walk in on a Sunday morning. It was like, hey, this person didn't show up to teach this Sunday school. Can you teach? And I said, sure. And they was like, are you really sure you can do this? I was like, sure. I was like, the word of God tells me that if I open my mouth, he'll fill it. And I was like, I've already been studying, because y'all say study the word. So I studied during the course of the week. So I said, whatever God want to say, he'll say it. I'm fine with it. And then they will put you in those positions and you flow. And then it was like, oh, we, at the same time that I want you, it's like I almost want you as a trophy to show the people, ooh, this person's at my ministry. But at the same time, it was a fight.
Hmm.
So with all of that, I was like, I didn't feel like that I would accomplish certain things. So I started kind of letting those go. I was like, okay, well maybe it's not meant for me to do it. Maybe I'll never get the opportunity to do it. So when you called that day and you said radio, I was like, yep, that's it. I
And
was like,
wanted to ask you about that too, because with all of those feelings, what was it that changed that got you to a point? And I don't think any of us are totally there,
right,
where we think, okay, I got this, I can go ahead and do this. But I will, if somebody and tells me at the last minute or a drop of a dime, I want you to go out there and teach. And there's going to be some hesitation in me, that because I'm just, I am feeling and experiencing those things that you're talking about.
right.
Am I really qualified? Do I have what it takes to do this? And at some point, uh, it's like a switch almost goes on, and you begin to believe in yourself. You begin to honestly believe that if it's an assignment that God gave me to do, He's equipped me. He's
Yeah.
already put in me everything that I need. I'm empowered to do this, and it will be fine because I'm not doing it alone. Did you what switched for you? And you may be able to put your finger on it, and you may not, but something usually turns, something usually changes. It may be a moment, it may be uh, uh, an incident or whatever, but something usually will happen that lets us know I'm in my flow, I'm in the right zone, and this is my dream coming true.
It was, I don't know, it's like with the time that I would spend in study, because I took what people were saying literally. I know sometimes we like we're in church and in different places there, like, but specifically for me, for in church, they would say, you need to study the word, you need to pray. And when I was in Germany and we had Bible studies and stuff, they were like, okay, this is how you pray, and this is what you need to do. And then you need to pray, and then you need to sit and you need to listen and hear God and learn his voice and learn what the word is saying, because the word will line up with what his voice is saying to you, because he's not going to go outside of his word. So I set aside time. I remember just having all I had then, because now people, like, they got their concordance, they got their phones, they got all their other stuff. I had a dictionary and my Bible, a Webster dictionary and my Bible, and I would sit and I would read like they were telling us to, and I would study because I wanted to know. I was before I went to Germany, I was like in church one day, and I came home and I said, God, there's got to be more than this. It's like I want so much more, and I know that you're more than just me going to church on Sunday, singing a few songs, and then leaving and going home. I was like, there's got to be more. And when I got to Germany, I found the more that I was looking for,
Mhm.
and I believe what they taught. I was like, okay, they're teaching the word. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to study. But the more, and I tell a lot of people this, the more I found out who Jesus was, the more I found out who I was.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that started to change my perception of me, because then I said, who am I to speak against who God created? God created me too. And I would tell somebody else, oh, you need to encourage yourself. You need to stop speaking evil about yourself or believing what people said. And I had to do that for myself. I had to begin to tell myself, you were fearfully and wonderfully made too. God made you, and he didn't make a mistake when he made you.
Right.
So you have to begin to embrace who you are. And I started speaking the word over myself, and I started learning the scriptures about I am more than a conqueror. I'm above only and never beneath. It's like I am the healed of the love of the Lord. He loves me. He gives his beloved sleep. All these things was telling me who I am. I found out. I went through and found out all the scriptures that saying who I was, and I posted them
Yeah.
and I spoke them every single day. I would say they would be on my refrigerator, they would be on my mirror, they would be posted in different places in the house, and I would speak that word over myself every single day. I would speak it, and the more I spoke it, the more I believed it, and it started changing how I looked at myself and how I even how I presented myself. I started seeing, okay, you can do this. This will happen. And then I started saying, God, if it doesn't, I'm still going to praise you. I'm still going to worship you. I'm still going to glorify you, even if it does not come to pass the way that I'm thinking in my head. Because sometimes, even now, I still have dreams and different things that I haven't seen happen. But I was like, if he does it, if he doesn't, I'm just going to worship and I'm just going to praise because he's still God. And then that would give me a peace with the speaking and just getting up in front of people. I had more of a problem, and that's it's still to this day. I have more of a problem being 101 with somebody, like face to face, and trying to create conversation, than I do standing in front of a group of people. I can get up in front of a group of people, and I know because I believe God is going to put in me what I need to give to these people. And if I've been studying, I put it in there. So there's a word in me, the word going to come out. But I can stand up in front of the group and start talking and just be comfortable with that. Now you put me one on one with somebody and ask me to share something with them, it's like I can share it, but I'm more nervous being on one than I am in a big group of people.
That's interesting because your program is more one on one when you have a guest. When
Yes,
now is it because do you think it is because of the topic or because of your relationship with that guest that puts you at ease, or is it both? Because I know that your tag is information, revelation, and change. And so I know that you are looking for individuals who will fit somewhere in those three categories with what they have to say or what they want to bring. But what puts you at ease in those situations, because you're very comfortable, and even when you're talking to you. We've talked about that. I said you have no problem. Sometimes I have a problem when it's only me, depending on what I am talking about. And somebody, it may have even been Bernice, but somebody encouraged me and said, you don't have to have a guest all the time. Sometimes just come on and talk to us. Just come on and read some poetry. So I call those my E2 programs. But I think because they set it up that way, it
right.
made it easier for me to come on and do that. But what gives you that ease now when you have that guest to come on? And how do you find your guests?
With the interviews, I'm at like peace with the interviews. It's like the interviews don't like bother me as much. To have an interview with somebody, because a lot of times when I get on, if I hear a question, because sometimes I hear how things are going to go, and I it's hard to explain, but I hear like certain questions, and I'll write those down. But a lot of times I come on with it with somebody who I'm interviewing, and I have nothing. I haven't written anything down. I haven't written no questions down. I'm just going by listening to them, hearing what they're saying, and then bouncing off of what they're saying.
Yes. Hmm.
Um, and I'm at ease with doing that. But with if you put me like if I'm in a crowd of people and I have to go and talk to this one person, like to introduce myself or who I am, and to begin to talk to them that way, that's where that freeze comes up. Now I've had people on the show that I didn't know, like Dr. Sonia Cook. I had her come on. I did not know her, hadn't met her, but I wanted her to come on and talk about mental health. And somebody gave me her name and number, and I called her, And when I called her right off the bat, she started talking. I started talking, and I was like, "Oh, this gonna be good," because there was no like hesitation in there,
Hmm.
and I felt comfortable with her just talking to her. So when she came on the show, we just talked like we had been friends forever, and
Hmm.
it worked out that way. But you put me across and said you got to go introduce yourself to this person. Like new people come into church, or new people come in the workplace and stuff, and they want you to introduce yourself, and they want you to talk to them, and maybe, oh, maybe you can get with this person and take them to lunch or go do this. And that thing is like that really gets me, where I like, oh, what do I say after I say, hi, my name is Angela? What do I say after that? It's like my mind goes blank. But you put me in an interview situation, and I'm constantly thinking, and even when the interview gone, I was like, man, I could have asked this. Oh, I could have asked this right here. So then I'm thinking, okay, we got to bring them back, because then the more that I talk, all these questions, all these different things come up, and I was like, oh, that would take us down another road. Okay, we don't need to do that right now. So I got to put a pen there, and so I can write that down and come back, because everything just starts flowing once I start talking.
What has been your most difficult, your most challenging interview? The most challenging thing that's
Oh,
happened to you when you were on the air?
I had, oh man, most challenging. I'm thinking the one lady, and I can't, I mean, I can see her face really clear, but I cannot remember her name. And that was back when I was doing radio.
Mm.
And I was, cause she is a talker, and she was sharing her testimony, and I didn't want to like jump in,
Right,
because I was trying to let her flow with what she was saying. So that was kind of difficult for me, because like you were saying before, it's like with the with video, you can see the person,
right, right.
and you can kind of gauge where you need to like jump in. But
Uh-huh.
with her, I couldn't gauge where I could jump in, and she had went into like preaching mode. She was flowing. And I was like, I don't want to stop her, but I was like, oh, my time, my time. So I was trying to like pace myself to see where I could get in at. There was an interview I did with the video, and I was just talking to and this was with, I remember Sep, because Sep, I worked with Sep, but she was talking about her journey with breast cancer,
Mhm.
and she was talking about different things that had happened. And with that interview, it wasn't so much of like trying to jump in or whatever, but in the midst of it, I'm asking her this question, and then she starts to cry, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that, because then I'm gonna cry too. Don't do that. And she was like, I don't know why I'm crying. And I was like, and I knew it was just because God was moving because with the questions and stuff, and how things started to come up. I was like, man, this is like a healing time, and I have to watch myself, because I get so connected to that person,
Mhm.
and it's almost like feeling what they feel. And I was like, okay, you got to stay in your space, because both of y'all can't be on here boo-hooing and crying, and people like, what's going on?
I think though that with what we do, we have a unique opportunity, particularly for the individual who is coming on with us, um, to share their journey, their information, their revelation, and their change, because it is never just about us.
Right.
We always, my favorite thing is that everybody has a story. It just depends on whether or not they're willing to tell it. And sometimes we think that we are in it, whatever our it happens to be, that we're in it alone, and we rarely are. Whatever we have been through, someone else has been through in some way, shape, or form. And it takes courage. It takes courage to be able to come on and do it. I did a show, I sent something out to the village at one point and said, you know, you have a story. If you want to share it, if you want to come on the air and share it, then I would love for you to do that. And I see a guest on tonight, Nikayetta Williams from New York. And Nikayetta signed up to come on, and she did an amazing job in telling her story and things that she had been through, and they were things that other people could identify with.
Yeah.
So I think that when we operate in these areas and in these avenues, that we have a chance to build people up and encourage them
Yeah.
in ways that are sometimes more impactful than someone just saying, "Oh, you can do it. Oh, you'll be fine. Oh, you know, that kind of thing." But it kind of takes you into a deeper place sometimes, and it allows. I think a lot of healing does take place,
Yes.
and we are in that mode. And one thing ALH tries to do is we don't get into a lot of the how do I want to put it? We don't get into a lot of the hot topics, the raking people over the coals, the why do you think they did that? And I don't think they should have done that. We really do try our best to be a place where people can come and be encouraged and be inspired and be able to know that God is with us, and although it may not look like it right now, although it may not feel so good right now, you know, He is still with us, and He is still orchestrating all the facets of our lives in what He wants us to do and how He wants us to do it. As we're going on and going into, gosh, we're in second quarter already of
Yes.
this year. What do you see, or what would you like to see? Because you know God has a way of flipping the script on us. But what what would you like to see happen with Whole and Beautiful? And I love it, people. I love it when she first started her program and she came on and she welcomed her Whole and Beautiful nation. I thought she just started and she got a whole nation. People here, man, but she got a whole nation with her.
have to
I just
have to
love
speak
it.
those things that are not.
I loved it. I loved it.
Oh,
What kind of things would you like to see happen?
it's so much in my mind that I want to do. I want to the way that I want to set things up is first like a to have like a studio feel, to have like an actual where I could sit down and have conversations with people, and maybe even bring some people in where I can actually sit with them live and talk to them. I want to do like an extension of this of my Whole and Beautiful that's on Friday, and maybe do like a recap on Saturday live, like on a Facebook. Just get out and talk to people for about 2 or 3 minutes. Just get on there and talk about it and say something about it to see if the feedback and everything comes in. I want to be more of an impact in like community and impacting people with sharing the stories that I do share. I'm looking for the story that somebody wouldn't like, that they don't put out there. I'm looking for the good news. The
Goodness,
good news that's out there, and
I
maybe bring it in to share it with some people, that maybe things that are going on in their communities, maybe things that are going on that people don't know about, because a lot of people don't know about certain like community events or community things that are going on, or even resources that may be available to them that they don't even know that's out there. And I want to put a spotlight on it. I want them to get as much information that they can, because I want them to get a revelation about who they are. So it's like I'm trying to, because I'm working on a show now about menopause. Now I know y'all, yeah, people be like, "Oh, well, Oprah just did a show on menopause." I had an idea of me, what about? It's been about maybe 2 years ago to do this show, and I said I should have did it early because now everybody gonna be like, "Oh, she doing it because Oprah did it." No, I had this idea,
Uh,
and I've been trying to get people on to talk about it, but I want to talk about women's health too, because a lot of times we're not taking really good care of ourselves, and we need to do that. So I'm looking at all these different aspects, but my main thing is to get that information to somebody, because I was like, if I get it to them, then maybe they'll have that connection. They'll have that moment where it's like, oh, okay, oh, I get it now. I got this revelation, and now I can make this change in my life, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whether it's socially or emotionally, to bring about a positive change. That's I want to see that happen. I have so, but I right now it's like I got so many ideas rolling in my head, but I want to really impact the people that I'm talking to. I don't want it to be, oh, Angela shows on, oh, Whole and Beautiful's out there. I want them to like, oh, I got to turn this on because something's going to happen
yeah.
that's going to change my life, or something. She's going to connect me with something that's going to like bring about this major change in my life. And that's what I want to happen
Well,
in the
Miss
future.
Nikayetta is giving you a word of encouragement. She said, "Go ahead and talk about it, Miss Angela." So whatever, doesn't matter, and that is very true. The topic may appear to be the same, but the delivery, the guest, the personal story that
Yes,
goes along with it is always going to be different. It's
always.
always going to be different. Well, Miss Angie, oh, I appreciate you. You know that I do. I thank you for taking time and coming on this evening. I am so sorry that we had technical difficulties, and a lot of you may have missed the very beginning of the show. But Angela and I are going to be back. I'm not sure which month it is, but we're going to have another Carolina conversation because
Yes,
we enjoy doing it.
yes.
And we hope you enjoy listening to it as well, because we hit upon topics, and both of us have different perspectives on the topics that we talk about, which makes it engaging and interesting for our audience and our listeners. But Angie, I thank you for being part of the ALHB family. I thank you for your diligence and commitment for excellence that you bring every week. Angie is on every Friday night at 7 p.m. right here on ALH Broadcasting. Tune in sometimes. If she's not on your calendar for you to listen to on a regular basis, be sure that every now and then, if you can't do it every Friday, that every now and then you will come on a Friday and say, you know what, I want to see what Angie O was talking about, because that whole and beautiful nation got some stuff going on, and I don't want to miss it. And make that your point. But Angie, do you have any final words of encouragement or inspiration or revelation that you want to share with the audience tonight? Any of those things?
I just want to let them know, even with this show on tonight, go after your dream. The dream doesn't die. You're the dreamer. You're still alive, so your dream is still alive, and it can happen. Just keep pushing, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. You never know when it will come to pass, and it may not come to pass when we thought it would, and it may not look like we thought it was going to look. But as long as the dreamer is still alive, your dream is still alive too. And I wanted to thank Miss A for the opportunity. She's a part of the dream because she came in with the opportunity to give me a chance to say yes. And I'm glad that I did.
I am glad that you did as well, Angie. It has been a delight having you as part of this. And you're absolutely right. It didn't look like this to me. I did not think this was going to be what it is, but I have met some amazing people along the way. I've had great guests. I've had part of the village, and Victoria has become a host on the show. Bernice is faithful, and she tunes in to most of the broadcasts that we have on ALHB. Nikayeta is also there and always encouraging. And I just feel like I owe it to those who show up to show up myself.
Yeah.
I want to be fully present. I want to be fully engaging, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want them to come. I want them to enjoy. I want them to walk away feeling that they have gained something that will help them in their life's journey. So as long as we're doing that and listening to the Father, I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So thank you, Angie. I appreciate you being here, and thank you everyone for joining and being a part of When Life Speaks tonight. Always remember that you can come here, you can turn down the volume of life and be ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good night, everybody. Good night, Angie. And we'll
Right.
see you next week. Angie will see you tomorrow because she'll be
Yes.
on Friday night, 7 p.m. Tune in and see what she got to talk about because I know it's going to be good. That's it, everybody. Good night. Have a good tomorrow, good weekend. And we'll see what God's got in store for both of us next week. So be sure to join. Take care and good night.